Convicted of murder and sentenced to death. That happened to Randy Steidl for a crime he said he didn't commit. He spent 17 years in prison and more than a decade on death row, then finally freed for a wrongful conviction. Steidl talks to News 10's Amanda Jarrett about where his life is now.
A freed man. Just 7 years ago, Randy Steidl was under lock and key on death row.
Being in prison itself is living hell. Being on death row, an innocent man, is torture.
Condemned for a horrific murder that rocked the small Paris, Illinois community in 1986. Dyke and Karen Rhodes, a newlywed couple, stabbed more than 20 times, their house set on fire. Steidl was accused and convicted of the brutal killings, along with Herb Whitlock. Both served years in prison. Eventually, the two were deemed wrongfully convicted.
Do you remember that pain and that hurt that you felt when you were pleading your case and nobody would listen?
Now Steidl is using his freedom to spread a message throughout the country, like here at Indiana State University.
What God saved me for was to speak for those actually innocent in prison.
Steidl says he's one of 20 innocent people that were once on Illinois' death row. That's why he pushed to have their death penalty abolished this year. Now he's hoping to do that nationwide.
Even if prosecutors do everything above board, there's still that possibility that you're going to put an innocent man on death row and execute him. 17
years of Steidl's life spent behind bars. All that's left now of the case are conspiracy theories and 2 mysterious murders. State Trooper Michael Callahan reopened the case at one point, but was told to stop his investigation.
The state of Illinois has a duty to follow the leads that Lieutenant Michael Callahan investigated 8 years ago and solve this case.
Steidl will continue his work, hoping to save the innocent facing the death sentence. To this day, no one knows if the couple's killer is still on the loose. With photojournalist John Tim, Amanda Jarrett, News 10.
Steidl works closely with a national program, Witness to Innocence. Check out our website to learn.
My name is Randy Steidl. I was born and raised in a small town of Paris, Illinois. I was wrongfully convicted in 1987 for a gruesome double murder that I did not commit. I spent 17 and a half years in prison. 12 years of those were on death row in Illinois. And I watched in those years 12 men be executed. If it had not been for people outside of the justice system, I'd have been executed. My case began in July of 1986 with a gruesome murder of the newlywed couple. And small town of Paris, 9,000 people, they were looking for somebody to blame for these murders. And I went from the streets to death row in 97 days, me and my co-defendant. There were no physical evidence tying me to the crime. I had a corroborated alibi, and I had a worthless attorney. And the prosecutor was bent on convicting us because 6 weeks before these murders, my co-defendant and myself had went to the FBI about the prosecutor protecting drug distribution and money laundering and gambling in that town. And the jury deliberated 6.5 hours before coming back guilty. You have to listen to your family wailing in the back, your kids. You're sitting there, you can't believe you just heard that you were convicted of a double murder. It's just like somebody reaches over and throws the light switch off on your life. That quick, that easy. Death row is like a prison within a prison within a prison. You're in a 4x8 cage 23 hours a day. You're fed in the cage. They cuff you up every time you come out of that cage, whether it be to the yard, the shower, to the doctor, to the yard. The monotony is maddening if you don't exercise your body and your mind. And they're determined. They are determined to turn you into the animal that society has portrayed you as by being convicted of a double murder. My immediate family was, when I heard the wails and the cries in the courtroom, I had my custody of my 9-year-old son at the time that didn't understand from the streets to death row in 97 days, gone, out of his life. It affected him immensely through the years, and the collateral damage that's caused to children, to parents. If it hadn't been for my mother, I'd probably be dead today. Never thought I would be vocal about my case and want to talk about it. But I figured if I don't talk about it, if I'm not trying to be a voice for other Randy Steidls that are still sitting on death row in this country, those people don't have a voice, just like I didn't have a voice. Well, now I do. And I am not the expert on the death penalty. I am one of them. And I believe people need to be educated about it.